the thing about it is there's a lot of money and a lot of power in this game. And if you want to know who a man is, give him either one of the two. He either gonna change the world or the world is gonna change him. You look at the Nipsey Hussles, the Dobies, the Bankroll Freshers, all these guys. That's what the lifespan is supposed to be for a rapper. But it's like, I ain't never been no rapper. How about that? You know what I'm saying? I remember Jay-Z called me. He was like, yo, man, I need to put a verse on that, my president. I ain't heard the verse. We in the club, I'm performing the song. The music stops. He started rapping the verse that I've never heard in the club in front of everybody, and they going crazy. Right? Hard. And I'm just sitting up there, I looked at my man, I said, I told you.
Yo, what are you doing? I'm giving you unbelievable content for the masses. And you just gonna keep it to yourself? Do me a favor, tap that red button right there, subscribe, and it literally takes no time. Try it and see what happens.
Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? What it is, what it ain't, what it could be, what it should be, what it would be. Cam Newton the Son, Mr. Boogity All. And I promise to give good content for the masses, but I promise to keep it funky for your asses. Now, like I just said, off camera, but I'm gonna say it on camera. We are in the presence of Atlanta royalty. You dig what I'm saying? The streets will appreciate this one. I said he was trapping in the damn Air Force Ones, now he corporate thugging in the Chelsea boots. You feel what I'm saying? My player partner, my dog, the OG.
Yes,
Jay Jenkins, AKA Jeezys.
What's up, my brother?
Wow.
How you been?
Man, look, boy. If I had your hand, I'd throw mine in.
That's right, talk that.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something though, bro. And this is what I really wanted to say for on camera. Bro, the likes of you, I would say you, between you and Steven Jackson, like OGs in the game, you know what I'm saying? Y'all taught me how to move.
Right.
You feel me? When I first came into the league, right, we had a lockout, so I had a lot of time, you know what I'm saying, to myself. I was working out during the day, partying with Jeezy at night, working out during the day, partying. Like it was just like boom, boom, boom. Like it was like the introduction to the lifestyle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One thing that I respected about how you moved, you was always in control. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, bro, we done went to Onyx, we went to Follies, we went to Magic, we was everywhere. We was in all those places. Do they still have, it was so many damn clubs that we was hitting, but it was like militant how you moved, bro. Everybody had a role. Hey, bro, man, make sure section set up. Right. Boom, make sure we got waters and whatever. Man, I don't want no, matter of fact, we want decoration. Matter of fact, bring them in. Boom, take them out. Boom, no, we ain't do. And just the control. And I respected that. And I still move that way. Right. Because of what?
My God, received that, brother.
Yes, sir.
We done had some nights.
Man, sweet bean.
We done
and
had
it's
some
been
time.
so many years, bro, that I ain't really tap in and had the time. You've been moving.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Obviously, you know, me having some motion. I feel like with this project that you got right now, let's start off with the book.
Yes, sir.
Right? Adversity for Sale. Tell me the correlations from creating an album and creating a book. Is there similarities or what is it?
Well, music, well, the difference between the two is what I learned in the streets, it suited me to put it in the music because that's how you get it to the people. It's like if you wanna, it's almost like if you speak the English language, you have to speak in English, right? Right. Well, let's just say then I went to learn Spanish, right? Which was where I'm at with the book. It's like I want to learn about life.
Yeah.
So you have to deliver it in a different package, in a different way. So the reason why I chose a book is because somebody gave me a book maybe about 7, 8 years ago, Think and Grow Rich. And that book changed my life. And I learned so much from that book that led me on to other books. But I'm just sitting there and I'm like, damn, all this knowledge is in the books. But it's the packaging of it, right? Because when you get somebody music, they just want to listen to it.
Yeah.
But you get somebody something to read, they're gonna sit there and focus on what you're saying and go through the motions. So I wanted to put the that I had learned later on in life in a book form, right? And talk about my life because I had learned so much. And it's crazy, I was at a book signing the other day and one of the brothers told me, he's like, man, I ain't picked up a book since I got out of prison. I've been out of prison 10 years. It's the first book I read. You know, for me, that meant something because now you're challenging, you know, the culture.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna give you a book. I'm gonna give you this game. There's some knowledge in there. And the difference between the two is when you're doing music, you know, it's flamboyant. We be on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you sit down and you're going through a book, it's, especially a memoir, it's therapeutic for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm having to deal with that I thought I was past.
Yeah.
And I'm having to
Trauma.
speak trauma, you know what I'm saying? And it's coming back out. And now when I'm thinking I'm in a good place in my life, I got everything together, I still got work to go do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was very therapeutic. And with the music, it more felt like journaling. I'm just expressing myself. This is my art. You know what I'm saying? You know how you get on the field, like that's your place. You get on that field, nobody can't tell you nothing.
Yeah.
Like you in your world, right? And that's what music was. It still is for me.
Right.
But like this author world is totally different.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a different audience.
Yeah,
And
truly.
one of my greatest kind of like street accolades, right? And I always talk to my older brother about this. He was like, bro, you tell me one that had Jeezy and Future.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
and it wasn't even no Atlanta Falcons game,
Right,
bro.
right.
You see what I'm saying?
No, that shit was crazy. That
Like
shit was legendary.
real.
Yeah.
And my whole thing, I wasn't that I was nervous. I didn't want to let y'all down. You
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Like, man, I can't have these folks come out here like to support and, you know what I'm saying, lay an egg. It was the 2015 NFC Championship game. And I was like, bro, them came out here in a fox or
Right.
like,
Black
cold as
llama.
a shit, flies a but real but like my thing was, bro, I always caught an eye to the street dude.
Right.
But honestly, for me, bro, I'm raised in the church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I know more gospel music than rap music.
Wow.
So for me,
Was that like your family played gospel music?
yeah, like my father's a preacher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
and my mom, all my mom knows is my dad and God.
Wow.
Like, so it was so much when I first came into stardom, that's why those years with being around you, it impacted me so much. And you probably didn't know it because I was taking those as proverbs. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody in my family that can relate to what I'm going through right now. So I didn't verbalize it to you.
Right.
I just leaned on your direction, seeing how you move, seeing how you carry yourself,
Right.
seeing, you know, how you dealt with adversity, you know what I'm saying, publicly and just, you know what I'm saying, just however, and then over the years being away from you, seeing still how you move. It's like, bro, you can't rap forever. You can't make music forever, just like my sport.
Right.
You can't play football forever.
Right.
So you gotta evolve. I see oftentimes really where it's like, bro, these dudes making music, they doing this and doing that, and they just don't match the aesthetic.
Right.
You feel me? And how is that really for you? Because you're a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, rapid fire.
You dig what I'm saying?
Well, first of all, I received that, brother, and just so you know, I felt like we had a real brotherhood.
Yes, sir.
You feel what I'm saying? Like we've been through some times. You know what I'm saying? And we had situations where we had to look out for one another, and we had situations where we just had balls at night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just had a great time. But and even though we came to the game and it didn't go the way everybody planned, I know in my eyes and future eyes, you still won, bro, because you
Yes,
put
sir.
on for us. Like, that was the closest we ever been to some like that.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to be there with you to support you, bro. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So shouts out to you for that.
I think, go ahead.
But as far as me with the evolution, I don't think a lot of people understand, like, that's my gift. Like, I'm a visionary, and I'm a disruptor. And I understand that more now than ever. Because every time I've ever been in a situation, I'm always looking for the next thing, but I'm already 10 steps ahead, right? And I'm already thinking that I might have to make a decision that's unpopular to break that barrier.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because like a lot of the things I do in life is disruptive. It's like because they're trying to box you in, right? And it's just like, no, like you do the things you do so that you can break barriers for other people.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
For sure.
And it's just like, even for you coming from where you came from and breaking barriers and being, a quarterback, it's some kid in College Park right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Looking at everything you done, and it's just like you did it your way.
Yes, sir.
You didn't perform to, and that's the thing for me, is just like evolution is a part of who I am. I don't ever think I will ever stop evolving. Like, I don't ever think there'll be a time that I'll wake up and not want more better for myself,
yes,
or
sir.
better for my team or my people or my family. And it's like, even like learning, like I'm like a sponge, bro. Like people don't, I probably spend 60%, 70% of my day learning. I can't tell you how many podcasts I listened to this morning, how many books I read, songs, the book of John. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just me. If I need some information, I'm going to go find it, because there's always going to be a situation where I'm going to deal with somebody that need to hear it from me, right? Because like what happened with when Tip came and talked to me at the studio and kind of convinced me out of getting out of the streets, I needed to hear that from him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because he was where I wanted to be. I'm like, well, if he's saying that.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes that people want to hear things from you. And again, like, myself and yourself, is just like, it depends on whose hand it is. You could put a football in anybody's hand, but you put it in your hands, it's a different ball, right?
Cool.
And the same thing with me. If you put a microphone in my hand, it's a different conversation, right? Than just a regular person, because we both have that skill set.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's like evolution. That is like, it's food, bro. It's like it, because I love to see that.
Yeah.
Because I sit in the room with people, bro, and they won't even they'll be having these conversations, and I just be like, damn, man, it's fascinating. And then when somebody asks me a question, I've been on the phone with 4, 5 world leaders, today. You know what I'm saying? Like people who move nations. But you won't know that because it's me.
Right.
Right? So when I'm sitting there having a conversation with people, I got all this data and this information that I've been gathering. So when I'm ever in a situation I need to make a decision, I'm gonna make a decision based off the information I have. So that's why it looks like so big from the outside, because I'm rapidly growing, but I'm also executing the things that I'm learning.
For sure.
Right? So it just, for culture, because that's who I am, right? I'm a vessel.
Oh, absolutely.
So my goal and my dream is for people who come from where we come from to not get boxed in by what people think that we should be. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the Nipsey Hussles, the Dobies, the Bankroll Freshers, all these guys, that's what the lifespan is supposed to be for a rapper. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I ain't never been no rapper. How about that? You know what I'm saying? I made great songs, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's the purpose I walk in. So when you ask me the question, my purpose is evolution.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
I respect that.
Yeah.
But man, look, speaking on evolution, I was looking at something that brings even more perspective to this and requires even more acknowledgement to this. You was looking at a picture of one of your art covers, right? Everybody had a Lamborghini, Rolls Royce, or something like that. It was a BMF type of thing.
Yep.
And I think the person was saying like, what do you feel about it? And he was like, well, I don't really like looking at this picture because everybody in this picture either dead
or in jail.
Or in jail.
Yeah. Maybe
You know what I'm saying?
except a few. Maybe like 3 or 4.
So for you, seeing that movement of BMF coming through the early 90s, early 2000s, creating this hardcore movement, but also evolving into your own sound.
Right.
Being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, investing, a venture capital, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Things like that where they say, oh, Jeezy, oh, that's a rapper, that's Snowman, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like TM103, Jeezy like the drain,
Right.
Jeezy like that, that's what they want to box you into.
Yep.
But when you see the whole epitome of what you stand for,
Right.
it's no different than the person that's on Wall Street.
Right.
It's crazy, and that's how I look at it. For me, like being from Atlanta, being inspired by the things that inspire me, you can't box me in. I'm like a damn cat, you feel me? And don't try to define me by what your narrative is.
I mean, but I think that even as far as like how you push the line with fashion,
Yeah.
you know, there's black men that want to have you cool,
Yeah.
like you can, you
Yeah.
the homie, but when you push that line, it's kids and people out here who want to, you know, push that line as well.
Yeah.
So you're giving them hope. And to answer your question, like for me, like the thing is, like the goal wasn't never to be a rapper. That wasn't like my kids will never wake up and that's all their daddy did. You know what I'm saying? I want to change the world. Like that's real for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but you have to do it the best way you can. And you look at Nelson Mandela, it took him to go, you know, away for 26 years to become a great leader.
Yeah.
Right. So it took me, you know, more than half of my life to go through, you know, God knows what.
Yeah.
To be able to be in this situation, to be at peace and to be able to say my piece. Because I can't go talk to somebody about, you know, life and how they should make different moves if I haven't been through it. But I've been through it, so how you gonna tell me that?
Exactly.
Right? And then I've seen casualties as well. I've seen people that I love go away for a long time. I see people that I love that never coming back again because they gone forever. So when you put all that together, like even a lot in the book, that's what the adversity for sale is about, because it's almost like I was losing when y'all thought I was winning. You feel what I'm saying? Like I was losing, I was lost, I was trying to figure it out as I was going, and it was hell. But I kept believing to get through the other side. And now that I'm in a place, and I'm still not where I want to be, but now I'm in a place where I'm not reserved to share my story or either my journey, because I know just like you, as you push your fashion and you who you are and people look up to you and you big bro, you know, to them now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's people that are looking at me going, damn, if Jeezy can figure that out, change, or if he can, and not even change, grow. Because when you say change, you know, in our culture, niggas get tripping. Like, yo, that change.
Yeah.
But it's like, nah, bro, like that wasn't never the goal. The goal was not to stay here. Like, and if you look at what rap is now, rap is the streets. So that was never the goal.
It's highlighted now.
Right.
Like when,
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I remember watching Channel 2 News, bro, and they was like, damn, they're trying to boycott you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You can't wear these shirts.
Yep.
You can't even really, they tried to stop wearing black t-shirts or white t-shirts to school because of the movement that you had going on, not necessarily knowing it's really derived off of unity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And to touch on really doing what I do, it's like, I never played the game how I play. I never lived the way I live to appease. And I'm using this as an analogy for, you know, to give people perspective. I never wanted to appease to Buckhead, because that's not where I'm from. I wanted to appease to Bankhead, College Park. You know what I'm saying? I always use the example of my hair. It's like, man, Cam, man, you know, you need to cut your hair. You need to be more clean cut. But it's like, that's where you go wrong, because the day I cut my hair, there's a kid in the hood that, you know, his mom don't got money for him to get a haircut. So he gotta, you know, grow his dreads in a way. And that's a superpower for us. If you look in the Bible, you see Nazarite. Samson was a Nazarite, strongest man in the Bible. But to my point, I appease to those people. It's like, bro, fashion. I spent a lot of money or little money on my outfit. I want to put it together. The day I went to Paris, because of my skill set on the field, I was like, yo, from where I'm from, they'll never be able to come to Paris. So I gotta bring back what I learned from Paris to, you know, use my Instagram, use my social media, my platform to just be like, bro, what the Cam got on? Like, bro, listen, y'all think I'm fresh.
Right, what
Or
you
y'all
go over
think
there?
I'm with,
What
bro.
you
Look,
go over there?
a year,
Right.
like that's crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
You
I
know
agree.
what I'm saying?
I
So,
agree.
of course, for you and your life, coming up the way you came up, you know what I'm saying, that trap music with the citing the source of the likings of the TIs of the world, obviously yourselves, and just putting it into a perspective that I wasn't creating music for folks that can't relate to my music.
Right.
And I think it was Yo Gotti who said it. It's like, bro, when I started hearing Jeezy freely talk about,
Oh, yeah.
like, that changed my heart. That took a load out of me. Like, I talk about this For real?
You know what it was too, because it was like, well, the culture of the streets is that it's almost like a group of indigenous people. We can speak a language because we're trying to stay under the radar or not let people know how we communicate.
Yeah.
So that language came from the streets. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a street person to know it, and you got to be a certain level of a street person to know that, because now you're talking on the phone, like you making deals on the phone.
Innuendos.
Right, on the phone. So it's like, but you don't got to get caught in person.
Yeah.
If you say the wrong thing on the phone, that's it.
It's over with.
So you got your lingo and your code got to be so undercoded that nobody can pick that.
Man, listen, two things, bro. I ain't never sold no cocaine. I ain't never sold. But listen to this dude, Mr. 17.5. I can tell you how much it's going for right now. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, when I think about it, and maybe I'm drawing a blank, and I just would like to think about your impact, because really, coming from Atlanta, repping Atlanta, there was only like a few people. You know, you got the Outcasts, obviously, can't forget about the Gucci's of the world, T.I.'s, Outcasts. But I'm like, bro, this dude really...
Chains.
2 Chainz, partner.
Killer Mike. Killer Mike.
Yeah. But it's like, yo, this dude got a deal. Nextel. This fool had Nextel chirps, bro. I got kicked. I got suspended for a Nextel. You know what I'm saying? But it was all derived off of you being true to you.
But see, the thing was that once I realized that I can put the coding in the music and people can still receive it, that's when the game changed for me.
Yeah.
When if it's taking too long to lock up, bring it back.
Yeah.
You show them when
Bring it
you bring it
back
stack.
up. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even know. I ain't had no. When that when that got on the radio, when I heard that on Hot 107.9,
Yeah.
I said, because this is the thing. It's one thing for it to play on the radio.
Yeah.
But it's another thing for all your homeboys from the hood, like, man, you talking crazy. But first of all, one of my partners called me and said, boy, you going to jail. That's that was the first. I was like, boy, you going to jail. I'm telling you. And so that made me have to be more, you know, covert and more
conscientious
about how I'm going about it. So that dug me deep, and that's where I really got my pen from. Because now I know who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to people who understand what I'm saying, and everybody else just like how it sounds. But the reason why I was able to captivate the streets is because I'm talking to them. I'm not talking to everybody.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Like, you know, when you go in a room and you say, hey, look, you know, if you ever look how the streets is broken up into hoods, cliques, gangs, whatever, it's like this is us. But the way I was talking to all of us together.
Yeah.
So no matter what.
Whatever set you claim,
Right, whatever you
this
doing.
music for us.
Right, it's for us. And it was hustlers music because I was able to say things in a way that motivated people. And a lot of that I took from what I learned from Pac.
Yeah.
Because when Pac came and he was saying thug life, you know, everybody thought he was like, you know, promoting violence.
Outlaw.
Right, but if you listen to what he was doing because of his upbringing and how he came up with his parents being in the Black Panthers and everything, he knew how to mobilize and gather people, right? And he knew how to speak to them. So thug life was a call out for all of us.
Yeah.
Right. So
it ain't no color, it ain't no creed. It's just like
it
it
could
did
be
what
black,
you stand
brown,
for.
whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what thug motivation was about. Because it was like, I'm gonna motivate the people like us. I don't want to talk to nobody else but the people who understand what I'm saying. And that's why thug motivation was set up like a class 101. Because you got to pass this one to get to where I'm going.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if you don't pass this, then that means either you got incarcerated or you're no longer here.
Correct.
Because that's the only way to fail.
And there's only a few of us that can relate to it.
There you go.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My thing, man, it's so, like, my mind racing so much right now because I want to touch on so many different topics. But, like, for you, coming into the game, like, when did it click for you? It was like, yo, like it was taking too long to lock up, bring it back. Like Boys in the Hood. That was, you know, obviously from that song. But when was that moment where you was like, yo, just really f***ing with this? And then like it's like I got to start taking this serious.
I would say, okay, so Them Boys, I remember doing that verse. So it's two things. I remember doing Them Boys in the studio with Jazzy and all those guys. And I remember Trick Daddy and everybody being there. Now, mind you, I didn't know how to record. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like there yet. So it was a certain way I recorded, which was really elementary, but it was my way. It's like, you ever seen Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah.
You remember when Eazy-E did his part? I was definitely Easy. You know what I'm saying? I was Eazy-E. And so I was doing it. I was writing my verse and I was getting ready to do it. And I kept hearing, I'm like, man, why they want him on the song, man? Dude can't even rap, man. He's terrible. It's taking him 2 hours. What's going on? So I was like, yo, I tell the engineer, I said, yo, shut the door, because I want to show you how I record. So my thing is always make sure that my voice is the last instrument on the track, right? So it's melodies and tones with me. It ain't what you say, it's how you say it. That's what I learned. And there was a certain type of way I had to record. So I sat the door, whatever. We got in there. It took us about 45 minutes. And what I would do was when I get done, I would always go in the hallway and have him press play. And then I'll stand in the hallway because you can hear the sonic, so you can hear the bass, how it would sound in the car. And everybody was just in the studio and he pressed play. And you know, the hook go through, whatever, my part come up, I'm standing in the hallway. If it's taking too long to lock up, by the time I was at the fourth bar, everybody in the studio was in the room. And they was losing they was like, oh, it's crazy. And it was like, that was cause those guys were really rappers that was in that group. So it was like one of the first times I was like, oh.
You got approval.
Right, right. And that was a big one, but I think the moment where I knew I was on to something was after Trap or Die. You know what I'm saying? Because
the mixtape.
Yeah, because Streets Is Watching did okay, but that could have been a fluke. But when I put Trap or Die out, I actually pressed up about 500,000 CDs and we was just passing them out. We was passing DVDs out too, because what I was starting to notice was when I was getting booked for shows, you know, $100, $200, whatever, that I ain't really need, but you know, I got to do it. People didn't know what I looked like. So I would come on stage and everybody would be like, yo, that's Jeezy. Like, you know, it was weird. So I was like, well, let me just take all the footage I got. And at the time they was doing Smack DVDs. I said, I'm gonna do my own version. So I put the Trap or Die DVD out with the Trap or Die, and I released it like an album, so it had a release date. So the reason why I say I knew the immediate impact of it is because it came out on a date. Like, let's say it came out on a Friday. By the next Friday, they was booking me like crazy, and I would be like walking somewhere through the mall or something, and they'd be like, yo, Cheese, I love you. I'm like, at first it threw me off because I'm a street guy. Nobody's supposed to really approach me. And how I really knew I was on to something, because I was still, of course, you know, doing my 1-2. I would go to my, you know, I might be going to handle some business and walk to somebody's trap house to drop something off. The DVD playing on the screen. I'm like, you know me. Why you watching this? And they was like, yo, this is crazy, nigga. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like these are people that know me. And they're like appreciating my art and telling me how dope this is, right? And it wouldn't be, you know, because I was getting busy. So I go around about 5, 6, 7 different houses, and everybody is watching this DVD. And I just remember going to my crib, and I'm like, damn, okay, what happens now? And it just, you know, and like you, a man of faith, like I believe in God. God happened, bro. It was like one day, it was a big question mark whether I was going to be going to the penitentiary or whatever. And then the other day, the question mark was erased and it was an exclamation point there. It was like, let's get it. Let's go. Don't even look back. Don't even look forward. The chirp phones I had, I threw them away. I still had money in the streets. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I just took it seriously, and it was just like, I kept telling people, because Trick Daddy, Jazzy Faye and all them was like, why would you give this music away? I was just like, bro, because I gotta go build a base. So it's like the streets. If you got some good work and you go on the block and you go get it away, they coming back. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so it's just like, right.
That could be chicken wings,
right, you feel me?
Music, Nickelback. You dig what I'm saying?
Chicken wings?
Like chicken wings, lemon pepper, and with the
they coming back, right? They coming back.
Look, before I miss this topic, bro, and I got to be obedient to my thought, I feel like I judge a man on really 2 things, really, but it's a third one that I need to add. Number 1, I judge a man off his woman. Right. How does his woman act without him in attendance?
Right.
Number two, I judge a man by his children.
Right.
See what I'm saying? You show me who your dad is, I could tell you, if he a man of some type of motion. Number three, I judge a man by how other men respect him.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
And it was like, I'd never been a place, bro, where it was like so many folks with you, whether they had on a bandana, whether they had on, whether they was banging, it was just, oh, that's Young. What up, my da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, yo, like, I want that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I was always peeping, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember, bro, we was in Follies. They closing that bitch down. Like, bro, we ain't going no damn way. Matter of fact, give me some more. And then it was just like, bro, I gotta, this right here, like I'm looking around, bro, it's like, bro, I got to be able to move like this. And it wasn't money.
Right.
It was the respect.
Right.
You feel me? One looking over their shoulder like, bro, I owe you. And I think to bring this full circle, it's like, bro, I don't see that often in the rap game right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where it's a clique. You hang with a clique.
Right.
But I feel like when you, like back in the day, it was a respect thing. You
Right.
dig what I'm saying? Where you could go anywhere. Now, don't do no silly. You know what I'm saying? You banging one thing and then boom, you going over here and you don't think that ain't real until it is. But everybody moved off of respect.
Right.
I think this younger age where it's like everybody want to be the boss.
Right.
But ain't nobody indoctrinated to how to move, you know what I'm saying? So do you like where the state of rap music, trap music, or they got drill music, they got so many different
Right.
genres of rap, you feel me? Like what's the good, what's the bad, what's your stand?
I just think that it depends on what you in it for. Right? Because it's just like being in the streets. If you in the streets just to get some money, get some cars, get some ice, and you don't really got a plan,
Right.
you already know how that's gonna end. Someday it's gonna catch up with you. And it's just like being in music. If you in it just to hustle and just to keep up with whatever's going on, then your priorities ain't gonna be the same. And the thing that I feel and why I feel like I have to lean into them is because you have to keep reminding them like, bro, you're not, once you've been elected, like the streets elected me. That's why I was so much respect.
Yeah.
It's like we put Obama in office.
Yeah.
They put me in that position. But when they put me in that position, I already knew from my first day on the job, this is a position of leadership.
Yeah.
You become a leader, right?
But who I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but where did this come from though?
But they came from me listening and watching what Pac was doing.
Yeah.
And I always said to myself, if I ever got in that position, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna stay alive. And I'm gonna be the person that actually evolved into what he could have, should have been. Because if Pac would be around now, I think the rap game would be different because what happened with them set the tone.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we all went from. Even all that I've been in, everybody been in, it's just like, everybody relate back to the Pac and Biggie. And what's happening is these younger guys are being put in these positions, right? And you can tell the ones who are listening to people that are a little bit older than them and have a little more
Students
wisdom.
of the game.
Yes, because there's a few of them. It's 2, 3 that you can be like, okay, he talking
This
to
flow
somebody.
came really
Right,
from,
right.
you know what I'm
He's
saying?
talking
But
to somebody.
yeah.
He got somebody he respects.
Yeah.
And they sit down with him. Hey man, listen, But you can tell who doesn't because the thing about it is there's a lot of money and a lot of power in this game. And if you want to know who a man is, give him either one of the two. He either gonna change the world, or the world is gonna change him, right? And the thing about it is, once you get this money and this power, and I tell people that all the time, it's just like it ain't to have a hit record, it ain't to have a platinum album, right?
Yeah.
It ain't to have all this money if you can't stay alive or if you can't stay free, because that's the bigger thing. But in a position of leadership, if you out here and and I've been there, that's why I know. A lot of the time you saw me, I was driving right off a cliff.
Yeah.
Cause that's where I was going. My GPS was not on. I was just going. Right?
Blind leading the blind.
I ain't had no destination. I'm just like, long we winning in but I started to understand like, I'm getting those voices like, you know, like you are a leader. You are a man of faith. You are walking in faith. You can't forget that. And a lot of the times when I was saying what I was going through, and that's why I got empathy for them, because I was going through so much.
Yeah.
I was leaning into my vices. Yeah. You know how that go. Mm-hmm. If you leaning into your vices, just like you in a season. Like if you drinking and you smoking and you part, how you gonna be focused? Yeah. How you gonna lead your team? Yeah. And I was in that place where, not saying you can't have a good time and enjoy yourself, I was leaning into my vices because I had no self-control, right? So I had to get back control of myself. Discipline. And what I see with this generation is, if you don't have, you have to have self-control, right? And then you also gotta understand your worth, because if you really look at it, it's their own taking out their leaders. If you look at Nipsey, that was his home. Yeah. Those are the people he loved. In his place.
Space where you supposed to be protected the most.
Right. You feel what I'm saying? But we're not exempt. That's the other part. Oh, yeah. You feel what I'm saying? That's so like with you knowing that, you gotta protect you at all costs, right? Because you're still leading people and they need you, because once that happened, like what happened with Nipsey's, all those people that was with him and all those lives he was changing through his music and all those people he was getting through their bad days, they got to go find somebody else now if they're lucky. And you take somebody like Bankroll Fresh, which was all our little brother. Like, and it's crazy because you and I was hanging out in the club that day when that happened with them, and I pulled him to the side and I said, hey man, we gotta talk when we get back to Atlanta. And it wasn't 3 days after he got back, he died. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's another leader gone. Because when you don't realize your worth and you just going about this like you just got lucky, it's gonna treat you like you got lucky. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going about this and you taking it serious, you can change lives, because that's the whole reason of being where you at. Michael Jackson changed lives. For sure. You know what I'm saying? Prince changed lives. The people who do what we do and become greats, they change lives, they change the narratives, they do things that connect the world. And when we get in this position, when we don't have our head on straight, we just cause just everything in our path we destroy. Yeah. Right? So my point case is, this generation, the ones that are the leaders, they're gonna have to lean in more, and they're gonna have to change the narrative for them, because I did it for my generation, right? Jay did it for the generation before him, and so on and so forth. So it's really on them to change the narrative. Because I was talking to my guy in the gym today, one of my trainers, a young kid, and we just talking, and Dolph was on, and the music was playing in the gym.
You said Dolph? Dolph, okay.
And I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, you know, he playing Dolph back to back, and I'm just like, man, ain't it hard to believe he gone? He was like, yeah, man, you know, I just wish I could have met him one day. He was like, you ever met him? I'm like, yeah, Dolph was cool, man. He was a good guy, woo, smart too, very smart. And I said, man, you know, I feel for y'all, bro. I said, cause you know, in our generation, we lost Big and Pac. Yeah. But y'all lose people daily.
You so don't even know who can be what.
So that's like, what does that do to your, what does that do to your mental? Because now we're normalizing this. Right. You see what I'm saying? So their generation is going to even be worse than we were. Yeah. You know, because we only had that to look to, and that was like, oh, how could you? Like, that should never happen again. Correct. Right? And their generation is just so different. It's almost like it's the norm. But then who's going to lead the next generation? Yeah.
Man, that shit, bro. Speaking of life, I remember, bro, we was in CIAA, bro.
You remember that?
Oh, I got it. Shit is, bro.
I can't believe he gonna tell this story.
Look, bro. CIAA. Let me show you how normal this was. It was like, bro, obviously coming to Charlotte, right? The height of my career. It was like, bro, you with me? I'm like, yeah, cool. I think you drove a Sprinter down there. So I was just waiting on you. You know what I'm saying? The campaign. Obviously, in any industry, but in rapping, the club opened at 9. It closed at 2. Around and pull up at 1:30 and had a time of their damn lives. But we pulled up, I remember it was Dolph, Gotti. It was a whole sea of people, bro. I was like,
Bank Road Fresh.
everybody, bro. And I get nervous around people like in that tight vicinity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and it just shows you how like a person that you are. You kept like, hey, bro, you good? Like, come on, man, no, you come here. I'm like, nah, I don't really want to be seen like that.
Right.
I'm like, the owner texting me, calling me, like, bro, where you at? Like, nah, I can't be seen.
Yo, God, what's going
You know
on?
what I'm saying? Like, what the hell you got? You sure you say? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm with Young. You know what I mean? Boom. And then all of a sudden, my brother was there, and I went pop, pop, pop. I said, oh. And you think you in control until mayhem happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. I remember getting like pulled up by my brother and scattered like a roach in the kitchen.
Right.
I said, oh, it was, bro, we went outside, everybody, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, bro, what just happened?
Right.
You feel me? Bro, like 2 hours after, I get a call. Hey, you trying to go out? I'm like, no, bro, I'm good on that. I'm good. But it was just, but that was just the thing, though. You know what I'm saying? And
you know what's crazy? What I remember about that day, what was so vivid, it was crazy, because I was with your brother helping get you up.
yeah.
And I remember like for about 10 minutes straight before we exited, I remember just, I don't know what got into my mind, but I'm always the calmest person in the room.
Yeah,
chaos
for
breaker.
sure.
But I just remember like going back behind the booth we was in and just picking up girls and picking up people and helping people up and helping them get out the doors like I was a firefighter. Or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's like, Jeezy, you need to get out of here.
Get the f out. What the hell are you doing? Chains dangling.
I'm picking people up. Like, you good? You okay? Everything straight? Check yourself. Make sure you.
But bro, like you was always that nurturer. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, I remember too, man. It's just coming to me, bro. Like, bro, we in Vanquish.
Yes.
And this how, you know, wet behind the ears I was, you know, DJ making the last calls, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, bro, all right, bro, I'm about to get out of here. It's like, no, the hell you ain't. You gonna chill right here. You let everybody else clear out.
Right.
And then you leave.
Right.
I was like, oh, yeah, let me do that. You know what I'm saying? But just learning certain things, how to move, I didn't necessarily know. You feel me? Being from Atlanta, certain things that you don't necessarily know until you actually
In it.
Right, and you like, bro, nah, that ain't what you do.
And we got to protect you at all costs, bro, because the last, you know how I go. You know, rap, quarterback hanging with a rapper. We on ESPN.
Yeah.
Cam Newton hangs out with Jeezy.
Yeah. But it was so like, but two, like when I see situations like a Ja Morant, you feel me? Like when you see guys who was in the spotlight trying to proclaim, and not to throw no shade on Ja, because he's still young. You feel me? Hopefully he gonna learn from it.
Yep.
But what I had was a person protecting me.
Right.
Like, bro, nah, cool, boom. I remember, bro, even with Future, like, he performed and it was something so subtle. It was like, yo, we about to take a picture. Hold on, let me put this cup down real quick. I don't want that to be on. Like, meaning he protecting you.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
OGs protect
The young guys.
The young guys. So when you say a leadership, it's not no cap that you're talking about. Bro.
Right.
I seen it subtly in ways like, bro, that's who that dude is. And he gonna teach you how to move. And if you don't learn nothing, you the fool.
Right.
You feel me? Because if you don't take this time when you're around the game and you see so much respect, I would have been a dummy not to kind of catch and
some of the game
and see how like, oh, okay.
And the craziest thing is like, you know, everybody's always waiting for, you know, people in our positions to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's why that's why I got empathy for Ja.
Yeah.
Because you can clearly look around him and see that everybody's around him is pretty much in his age bracket.
Right.
So he's the leader.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So if the leader is leading in a way, then the people who are following are gonna encourage that. Right? And the crazy thing is he's the only one that has something to lose. But the reality of it is he gonna get through it, he gonna be all right, but then he gonna tell the next young guy that comes up, hey, bro, and they gonna respect it coming from him.
For sure, because they know you done
something.
been through some.
He lost something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Man, look, bro, if anybody get it, it's me. Even going back to why I have my C1N All-Star team, just to tell folks, like they'll forget, and there may be a clip that's good. That's a good thing about social media. people often remember what you used to do. And I'm so accessible to the young kids that they even forget, like, damn, coach, you were fire. What you thought there was,
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
But it's not a lot of people that did what I did coming from where I come from.
Right.
Like, being the number one pick, all I had in my school at that particular time, like, was a dope boy to look up to. You know what I'm saying? They was making music, you feel what I'm saying? But it was like, I always tease my girl, like, when we driving down and my kids be playing bingo, that's my Lambo, that's my Ferrari, that's my this, that's my that. I was like, man, when I was coming up in school, bro, if you had a Monte Carlo on 24, bro,
it.
that was an exotic.
You was it.
A box Chevy.
No had no Chevelle.
Like, come on. Like, a Monte Carlo, like, these was exotics.
Yeah.
You know, and they had a little wave where they had, like, they would have, like, a cartoon on that motherfucker. They had, like,
on the car?
Darkwing Duck or the M&Ms with the Looney Tunes or something like that. It was just so hard.
Yeah.
But look, man, I keep rattling. Let's get into this game. Jeezy put on for your city. But let's see if you can name their city in the game called Where They From, featuring Jeezy. I will name some people, 3 at a time. Tell me which city or state they're from. You get
3 people and they're gonna be from the same place.
from the same place. You got to name the city or the state. You ready?
Let's get it.
Here we go. Kevin Hart, Kevin Bacon, Lil Uzi Vert.
Philly.
Correct. Trina, Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco.
Miami.
City Girls. Boom. All right. Shamik Moore, Chris Tucker, BK the Ruler.
Atlanta.
Correct.
Oh, I was right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You threw me off with that.
Yeah, I ain't want to say the
You
obvious.
gave away with Chris Tucker, though.
Yeah. Here we go. Zendaya, Doja Cat, Tyler the Creator.
L.A.?
Yeah. Taraji P. Henson, Corday, Dave Chappelle.
Ohio. No? Where?
DC.
Dave Chappelle from D.C.?
Yeah.
I went to his house in Ohio.
Subtle flex.
Right.
Right.
I went to his house in Ohio.
Here you go. Let's change up the, you know what I'm saying, the genre real quick. Jimmy Fallon, Mark Zuckerberg, Pete Davidson.
California. L.A.?
New York.
You know what? He is from Staten Island.
Yeah.
Damn.
Here you go.
Okay.
Aziz Ansari, Chris Rock, Tootsie.
Chris Rock is from... I think, is Chris Rock from D.C.? Hold on, give me one more time. Let me see. Where the hell is Chris Rock from? Cali.
I even put another one in there. Chadwick Boseman.
Shit, you got me on that one.
Denzel Washington.
Oh, man. Baltimore? What do you from?
South Carolina.
Denzel Washington from South Carolina?
Really?
I knew
It's
he
either
had
South
some, I knew he had
Carolina,
some
South
ice in his
Carolina,
veins.
right? South Carolina.
I knew
Him
he had
and his
some ice
wife
in
from
his-
South Carolina. Matter of fact, his wife was the one that told me.
Oh, wow.
Like, damn, y'all from South Carolina?
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah, we love you. Like, damn, even more the reason why I gotta go out. You know what I'm saying?
I knew he had ice in his veins, man.
Yeah,
I knew
man.
that. That makes sense.
Look, man, moving along. So Lil Baby dropped the song Bigger Picture, right? And it was promoting like social change in our community, right? Or impact, positive impact. I would say in my lifetime, my day, you was the first person to really promote that with a president is black,
yeah.
a Lambo too,
Yeah.
and now we got,
Goddamn.
like,
Yeah.
take me through that. Like, you obviously, you talking about visionary.
Right, right,
Who the
right.
would have thought about
Yeah,
that
right.
then?
And I recorded that song 4 months before he won. And it was out 4 months before he won. But from Streets is Watching to TM 103,
Yeah.
I was pretty much in the darkest place I've been in my life.
No way.
Yeah, darkest, the most depressed I've been, I was out of my mind, bro. Like I was I was out of my diet was Cristal and Waffle House, and I bro, I would get it'll be 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm on 1942, like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just self-soothing, and something happened in my life around that time, and I started working on the recession, and that's when I started like working out, drinking water, getting myself together. I had all this clarity, and I was just, cause you talking about somebody, I didn't even, I was running around, I didn't even know what day it was.
Like, the days just bleeding to each other.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Tie out
like,
your
you couldn't
life.
ask me
like,
what the date was. Like what? Sometimes I didn't even know the month, cause I was just so on a mission to get out of the situation I was in, but I was also under the impression that I was going to prison. So nothing really
you were
mattered.
just living. You
Yeah,
already knew it was an hourglass
until that.
Yeah.
And right around the time I started writing the recession, it's like I remember I woke up one day. I was like, bro, you gotta get this together. And I started working out. I was like 260. I got down to like 185. Wow. I was reading. I was journaling. I was watching the news. I was getting all this information. And I'm just like, I'm gonna go put this in the album. And I started writing the recession because I was in a dinner with some people. And they they was rich and they was worried about money. I'm like, what the hell y'all talking about? It's like the recession. So I went and Googled it. I was like, oh, it's a drought, but not on work, on money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, let me go put this back in the culture. So I put all my cars up, put all my jewelry up, and I just focused. I ain't drink, I ain't smoke. I just worked every day. I had a routine, morning routine. I did everything. And I wrote that album in maybe like 2 months. And when I was done, I knew I was done, which is very rare, because I record to like, they mixing and mastering. And I called my man, he came up from Mississippi, I played it for him. He's like, yo, it's crazy. I was like, I'm done. He's like, I know. And right when I was turning the album in, these guys from London had texted me some beats. And I'm sitting in my condo in Buckhead. And he sent me a beat, and all I kept hearing in my head is, my president is playing. I said, oh, I gotta go to the studio. So the day I go to the studio, I go in there and record it. And everybody in the studio base is like, all right, that's cool, but the album's done and we're great. Like, he's not the president and we know this, and you know what I mean? It's like, I was like, no, this is going on the album. And everybody was like, no, bro, it don't make sense. I mean, the election ain't until like 5 or 6 months, like you wild. I said, bro, he's gonna win. You have to look at the way the world, he is gonna win, because you know why he gotta win? Because we ain't got no choice. And we gotta do everything in our power to help him win. And my man was like, all right, whatever, put it on the album. So we made it, I think it was the last song. Right. Yeah. And I had got Nas on it, and Nas was on. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. You know, he didn't really. I don't think he knew what I was doing. Like he just liked the song. He thought it was just a good song. Yeah. And I remember, I'll never forget. We sitting over at one of my people's house when they was calling it out, and he won, and everybody was jumping around. Bro, I told you he was gonna win. This is what they telling me though. Yeah. The same people told me to take the song off there. I knew he was gonna win. You was right. But to me, I stood on what I believed in, and it happened. So that's that being a disruptor, right? And what really let me know that was the move, and again, being a disruptor, I'll never forget, it was inauguration time, because you know you win and you gotta wait till inauguration. And I remember Jay-Z called me, he's like, yo, I said, I got a party at he wanted me to come up and kick it with him. I said, I got a party at Love, I think that was the name of the club in DC, Love. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna pull up, me and B. I was like, word. And he's like, yo, because he was like, yo, man, I need to put a verse on that, my president. I was like, yeah, well, you know, come on, let's do it. So I'm thinking he gonna send me the verse, right? I ain't heard the verse. We in the club, and I'm performing the song. The music stops, and then Lenny S throws on the instrumental. He started rapping the verse that I've never heard in the club in front of everybody, and they going crazy. That's hard. And I'm just sitting up there, I looked at my man, I said, I told you. That's crazy. And that changed everything. And then the craziest thing is, real quick, when Barrak, he invited me to a correspondence dinner. I got there in New York. I flew all the way to New York, Tom Ford suit, the whole thing. I was looking like it. And the Secret Service said I couldn't come in. So I had to get back on the plane, fly back to Atlanta. I was hurt. I'm talking about, I was just like, because I had paid for all these people to be bused to the polls and plugged in with Hot 97.5, the radio station, Hot 97.9, and did all these programs so people can come vote. So I was like, damn, like I'm with you, bro. Yeah. But then that's what reminded me that my past was so real, that I couldn't, you know, take it
can't
personal.
forget about that.
And then I'll never forget. It was maybe like 2.5 years later, 3 years, and they got this correspondence dinner, and I'm in London on tour, like I'm touring Europe, and my mom called me. She's like, "Hey, baby," she said, "You know the president just said something about you on TV?" I said, "Nah." I said, "No, they don't really." She said, "I'm telling you." I said, "Well, tell my sister to send it to me." And she sent it, and the clip said, "My first term, I sang Al Green. My second term, I'm going with Young Jeezy."
No way.
And that's when I was sitting there. I was like, I like this guy, man. Because he's right. He can't stand beside me, and I respect, maybe now, but not then. But he still gave me my props from across the room. Because that's what I have to do sometimes with people that I know from the street.
Yeah.
I can't have you in my mix, but I see you and I love you, right? And that was, that's what I was like, he got some ice in his veins.
Boy, you said something then, though.
You feel me?
But that's a disconnect, though.
Yeah.
Bro. That's like being able to understand and identify what you can't do.
Right.
Not a lot of people know that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, bro, I love you to death, so and so, but bro, I can't be with you right now.
Nah,
it's too
hot.
It's too
much and by the way, if they really love you, they're gonna understand that and respect it because they want the best for you. You know what I'm saying? Like in any sense, especially for someone like yourself or myself, if somebody's around you and they know the type of energy that they might bring or the type of things they might bring around you and they see you in your light, then they're being selfish. Yeah. And even for me, I was mad, right? I was upset. But when he did what he did, he let me know that he saw me. Yeah. And there's been so many times that I've been out and see somebody I used to hustle with or something. And I'd be like, "Man, what's up?" That's right.
Acknowledgement, that tip of the hat.
Even like sometimes my team, like, "Who was that?" I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, long story." You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Barrak for that, man. You know, but me and him gotta have one of these sit downs like me and you having.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's overdue.
Bro, I look at a situation like this where it's like, bro, it's like, I got so many great organic relationships with people that the world will never know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I sit and I see, not only was I inspired by it, I was always like, I'm like, bro, you see how this food, like everywhere we always went, it was always plush. You feel me? I'm like, bro, I'm going into restaurants and it's the back room. I'm not going to sit down at the bar. Everywhere, but I learned that from hanging out with OGs like you. You know what I'm saying? Like learning, like, bro, it's player, or as they would say, it's P, when don't nobody know you in the room.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to be the loudest person in there, bro. You do more damage when you the loudest person.
Yeah.
But you could be very, you know,
Right, sniper.
like, boom, when you just quiet, like, hey, man, hey, shout it right now. Well, hey, partner right there. Hey, so-and-so, cool, boom. Man, we going out the back, though, not the front. It's just learning how to move. I think more kids, especially with the NIL evolution, with so many people that's coming into money. And I always say to the younger generation, bro, keep the main thing, bro. Don't let, like, for so long you was a rapper.
Right.
You was gonna let your pastime up
Right.
what people willing to what you for.
Right.
So for me, it's like, bro, I'm an athlete. So why the hell would I get caught in a brawl?
Right.
Now, certain things has to be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about respect. Learning how to move. If your people around you and they don't serve no purpose, this is how they get they strikes.
Right.
It's like, whoa, no, bro, go in the car. Matter of fact, I got this. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going home. Y'all do.
Take
matter of
care.
fact, whatever y'all do, just don't tell me.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not here. You feel me?
I don't want to know.
It's crazy because I was telling really my chief of staff, you know, about the reason why I don't host parties.
Right.
You feel me? It's like, I'm not a person that's strapped for cash. Thank God for that.
Right.
I would rather pay for the section rather than to be paid to be at that section. And you use my name, image, and likeness, and somebody around and get popped.
It's
And now,
on you.
the newsletter says,
on you.
hosted by Cam Newton, the person ends up shot and killed. Like,
Right.
I can't put that on my
Man, you ain't doing nothing wrong.
You see what I'm saying?
You ain't doing nothing wrong. And by the way, you know, you like a unicorn, bro. Like, you see you know you in the right spot.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
For sure.
we done ran into each other, you know what I'm saying? Some cool spots. Like, what's up, baby?
Yeah, yeah. What the you doing in here? Like, shut the hell up.
Same thing you doing.
You know what I'm saying? Man, tell me this though. Like, you coming up in music in a time where it was thriving. You know what I'm saying? And music still is thriving.
Right.
Is Mixtapes dead?
Because me and Drama just did one, Snowfall. I don't
But
think
that
so.
was an album though.
Yeah.
That was hard.
Right, on the low.
Like real talk.
I think that for me, Mixtapes was freedom, right? Mixtapes gave you a platform to just do what you love without any judgment. Because when you make an album, it's almost like playing in a playoff game. Like, you know what I'm saying? But a mixtape is like a scrimmage game.
Yeah.
And you might ball out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's getting you ready for the next phase. But it's like, I've always loved mixtapes more than albums because for an album, you have to have a certain mindset. Now, mind you, the thing that I see that's smart about this generation that I love is they pretty much do the same thing. They name it what they want to name it. You know what I'm saying? Because they could drop 3 projects back to back, right? And then be like, my album's coming out. But the music sound the same as the mixtape.
Yeah,
same
the quality
producer,
though.
same everything, right? But that's enabling them to build their catalog and to get more money out of these record labels. You see what I'm saying? So I respect that. They learned the hustle.
Yeah.
Because even like for myself, like, you got to think streaming wasn't out back when I was doing that. So I was, you know, if I say I press up 500,000 CDs, that's 500,000 CDs. I had to give them away, like personally, you know what I'm saying? These kids can hit one button, it's all over the world.
It's out there.
It's all
got
over the world.
SoundCloud, YouTube.
And that's why they're getting the type of money that they're getting, right? So, but I think the art of mixtapes is when you see an artist or somebody in their bag and they ain't tripping on no radio records, they ain't tripping on no features. It's like I pulled up in my homeboy house and he had a booth and a mic in there and I just went crazy.
It's a freebie.
Right, it's just free. It's
Let me
free.
show you
Right?
how great I
You
am.
say what you want to say. It's just like, damn, you know, and that's the difference because culturally, you know, we like your heart. And sometimes when you get to the album part, you know, it kind of gets watered down because the record labels get involved, and then the quotas get involved. It's like, well, your last album sold, you know, double platinum, so you trying to reach that. So now you're reaching out and doing things with people that you feel like have a bigger fan base than you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily saying that's why people started rocking with you in the first place.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's really 2 things that I want to kind of get off before we leave, bro. Like, this crazy. You know, as far as putting a project together in an album, you know, mentality. What's that process like?
Well, you know what's crazy, bro? Because I was talking to my one of my guys about this other day. He said, well, yo, what's your biggest regret? And I said, well, for me, my biggest regret was doing music to meet a quota. But if you look at it like the business aspect of it, let's just say you sign to a label, you got 10 albums. I can knock out 10 albums in 10 days and be done with that. But a lot of the times it would take me a year or 2. It took me 3 years to write TM103. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because you just get in a place where you're just trying to perfect it. You want it right. You want to keep working on it. You might be going through a writer's block. You might have some going on with your family. You might not be in a good space.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make these projects that come across subpar because your heart is not in them. You're trying to be the timeline. And for me, the reason why my music was so spaced out, I don't think a lot of people knew was, well, 2 things. The first thing was I was holding out on the label because I was trying to make them sell me my masters back. That was the first thing. And then the second thing was what I learned, even what I know to this day is, I'm not able to create my best work if I don't live.
Yeah.
So I'd rather go live, vacate, hang, eat, kick it with my partners, you know, just get out of that world and just be with regular people that I love or just, you know, just move around. And then, you know, when I get some time, I sit down, now I can go back and I could just, you know, reflect and just sit there and go like, yeah. And now when I'm putting this in the music, I done went through some ups, some downs. You know what I'm saying? I had some family issues with, you know, my cousins, and I lost a few homeboys. Now things are coming from my heart, and I'm not just writing to rhyme. I'm writing because I'm either releasing my pain or
Really
journaling. It means
yeah.
something, and that's been my best work. And the reason why Thug Motivation and a lot of that stuff in the beginning was so urgent is because it was in real time. Like I was living that way, right? And as you become an artist and you start touring and you go on, you got meetings and you got, you know, you're doing entrepreneur, you're doing business. It's hard to just focus and home in on how you feel, right? Because that's what music is an expression. And if you're not really, you don't know how you feel, you don't even know what you're saying really. And the last thing you want to do is get caught up in like who just had the hottest album with the beats, and now you want to just go get beats from such and such because homeboy had them. That might be his pocket. That's how he feel. Yeah. You get those same beats and can't make those same songs better because you ain't lived. And it's just like, for me, it's like if you ever see me like in my bag, like say for instance, Snowfall, I was in my bag. Yeah. I was running around on tour. You know what I'm saying? I'm popping out here, I'm there, I'm dropping those jets, I'm doing all this. It's like, oh, let me go make some music. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call drama because I want it to sound like this, right? And that's what you get when you let your artists live and be able to create rather than just like timeline. It's like, okay, I gotta drop an album in the fourth quarter. It's like, what is that? Yeah. You know how you have a great season because you're focused.
For sure.
This your season. You already see what's going on, right? You
your
laser.
Contract here.
Yeah, right. That one. You feel me? So. And we were talking about that, and I was just telling him, like, you know, I regret the business side of it because whatever money I made musically, I could have doubled that. But the integrity side of it, I feel like I kept it 1,000 with myself because I put my best foot forward, but I know when I wasn't doing my best work. And I'm cool with that because I know going forward, I wouldn't do that again.
So to this point, right, with all, you know, book, investor, give you a situation. Let's say you lost everything today.
Right.
Give me a realistic timeline when you could get it back.
Tomorrow.
Like, you lost, okay, cool, boom. Financially, strap me empty. How long will it take for you to get back and be like, bro, knowing what I know now?
Tomorrow.
Because of what?
I have real relationships, bro. I have people in real places that really rock with me because I've done stuff for them, they've done stuff for me, and we just have a synergy. And once you get in these type of groups, they look out for each other, bro. Yeah. They don't let you, you know what I'm saying? Before it all go down, like, you know, all these banks I've been doing business with will probably give me $100 million credit line just on GP, just based off of what I've done.
Correct.
And then even like some of the people that I deal with as far as like, you know, mentors and people that I just built a real solid relationship with, I see how they move. Like you can say, somebody say, you know, I actually want to invest in something like this. You know, people be like, what you need? You know, 20 million? All right, cool. So what I send the money? So it's like, it's different when you're out here and you're working for every penny. But if you're working for every penny, that's good because money is a tool. So it's not nothing that if you lose, it's the end of the world. Because as you're working for that, if you're building integrity, you're gonna have people around you that's gonna make sure that you get back in pocket because they know how much you mean to them and they know how much you mean to the culture. However, if you're out here and you're doing,
you gonna get.
By the way, if I was doing, the answer to that question would be totally different. Another 10 years. You feel me? But but that's what I tell everybody, man. I got one of my guys. He's just a social guy. Everybody loves the guy. He go spend and get FaceTime in with everybody. And I tell him all the time, like, bro, like, you're so wealthy you don't even understand, bro. Relationships are the most wealth you can ever have.
Everything.
You got good relationships, you'll never go without anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, you know, just always be solid with people, always be consistent with them, because you just never know who's gonna be in power. Right? And at the same time, if you're solid with them and you're consistent with them, if you ever need them, they're gonna be there for you because that's what relationships are about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference coming from a street level to now. It's like, Street level is like everybody waiting for you to either give them something, which is enabling them anyway.
Correct.
Or how can they take something from you?
Correct.
Right? Or, you know, you have people around who don't know how to play their position. You put them in a situation where they can flourish.
Yeah.
But they're
too naive to
right. You see what I'm saying?
Understand it, yeah.
But at the same time, it wasn't like that in the beginning, of course, because coming from the streets, I did have a lot of trust issues. Cause it was like, you know, I was hanging with Bron, bro. Like, how you, like me and Bron together, I ain't said 2 words to this guy.
Yeah.
He like, Jeez, you good? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Back when I was, you know, thugging, it was just like, yo, I'm not hanging, like he probably in his mind, like I'm never going nowhere with this guy again.
Yeah.
But I've known Bron, I met Bron through Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Way back when he was just getting in the league.
Yeah.
But, which probably could have been one of the best relationships I had based off how we met.
Yeah.
Right? But I wasn't ready to nourish that relationship.
Correct.
You know, but of course now, but I had to look at a lot of relationships and go, okay, I gotta take my personal out of this because they don't serve me no more because I am a taxpayer. I'm legitimate, I'm a businessman and all these things, and relationships are what's gonna make sure that I'm able to move around this world, because like if you know 100 people, you know what I'm saying? I know 500 people and he know, 200 people, and they know that if all of us in a circle, that means we got half the world. Ain't nobody we can't get on the phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You can call anybody. You're like, yo, you know such and such? Yeah, like you know how many people like probably want to talk to you that know me, like, yo, man, Cam, your man?
listen.
Like, could you call him? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Real.
And that's what it's about, relationships, baby.
Last thing, off the top of your dome, list all the investments that you have.
Woo, that's a lot. I'm gonna tell you the ones they already know about, because I've been learning these days. You can't tell them everything.
Come on with it.
Nod Spirits, Avion Spirits, real estate. We can go on for that for days.
Yeah.
Defiance Fuel, Agency 99. What else? I mean, the list goes on.
Okay. Last question. What would the 20-year-old Jay say to the person that's sitting down right now?
Yeah, man, keep going, bro. Keep going, bro, because in the words of John Lennon, in the end, it's gonna be all right. If it ain't all right, it ain't the end. You feel me? That's what I live by. He definitely tell them that.
Real? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I had to remix this one. Boogie like the drink, boogie like the smoke, boogie like the mix, and hammer with his coat.
Yeah.
Boogie had a child, boogie like the shine, boogie by his paper, cause boogie like the, hey man, my partner, bro, like real, bro, appreciate you. As we end things here, bro, we're gonna do it in unison. We're gonna look at this camera, but then we're gonna go to this camera, and then we're gonna finish with that camera right in the middle.
Let's do it.
Here we go, one finger, one pinky, one thumb. We're gonna say one love on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
One love.
Yes, sir, Ski.
Yes, sir, Ski.
Jeezy, bro.
My God.
Yeah.